Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Magic is Real podcast. I'm Shannon. I am your host, and I am a psychic medium. I have with me today a guest that I'm so happy to have with me. She has been highly recommended by my friend Brian Bowden. Her name is Cyn Shrader Hill. She is the founder of Elk Valley Paranormal, the author of 7 books so far, storyteller, editor, publisher. She also has written a book, interestingly enough, called Death's Doorstep about near death experiences, angel rescues, and spirit warnings. I wanted to preface this by saying that I know a lot of my listeners really tune in for the near death experiences and the sort of Super Soul Sunday vibe where it's all very uplifting, and we're still going to do that today. Some of my listeners have expressed, not a lot, but just over the years said, well, I don't, the paranormal stuff, that feels very dark to me and like exploitative and sensational. And no one's criticized me for talking about it, but I know that there can be kind of a dissonance between the two things. But the reason I wanted to have Cyn here, as you will soon find out, is Cyn is just the warmest, kindest Southern mama bear, with integrity and curiosity. And the reason I like delving into all things, whether it's cryptids, UFOs, stuff that we make fun of as being sort of tinfoil hat related, is because there is some correlation. And I have a curiosity about, as a medium and someone who interviews near death experiencers, what else is going on? How do all the pieces come together? So, Cyn Shrader Hill, thank you so much for being here today with me. I'm so excited to have you share your insights with my listeners.
I'm more excited to be here than you are to have me here.
Oh, that's so sweet. I think it's we're both on the same level, and I would love to hear about you because I want to know. I know your story because I've listened to interviews, but what was your backstory? Did you grow up religious? Did you have spirituality? And what led you into the work of paranormal research?
That was a long road. I grew up, of course, in the Bible Belt. I'm from Tennessee, and when I graduated high school, swore I would never come back. I was tired of this town. I was tired of the whole thing. Went to college, MTSU, got married, moved across country, and then a few years later, I had gone back to college, a different college, for physical therapy, and gotten my license for Texas. So moved to Texas and actually worked there as a physical therapy assistant and started traveling. And I was in Washington State in 2001, and they asked me where I wanted to go. And I said, Alaska. I just want to drive up from here. And there wasn't anything available. Where else do you want to go? Well, that's the only place I want to go right now. So I'm just going to take a break and drive back home and spend time with my family for a couple of months until you have something available. And then I'll drive back out. I drove home and cross country to Tennessee, and my dad died the next month unexpectedly. So it was just one of those things. I was supposed to be here. And that is what actually started me wondering about the other side. I had lost people, but nobody that close. And I was always a weird kid growing up. I loved dark stuff. I loved horror movies. I loved haunted houses, going to get scared. Woo, somebody jump out at me now. Ah, okay, I loved it. Anything like that. And my favorite author was Edgar Allan Poe when I was 10 years old. I started having panic attacks when I was 10 years old.
Welcome to the club.
And I didn't know what was causing it until 2013. I found out I was an empath.
Yep.
I had no idea. I was taking on everybody's energy and did not know it. So now I can calm everything down. And when I have to go into a big place with a lot of people, I know how to calm myself down now and center myself ground and be ready for anything that comes up just in case. But I suffered for years and in and out of emergency room, heart attack symptoms, and it was just horrible. So hopefully I can help other people to know, it's not just a panic attack. You're probably taking on other people's energy, good or bad. It doesn't matter. It ramps everything up. But fast forward to 2013, I wanted to be involved in a ghost investigation team. I was watching everything on TV. Um, I didn't know what to do, didn't know how to go about it. I had always been around odd things. There was something in my house growing up that was strange. I just couldn't put my finger on it. Um, I couldn't change clothes in my room. I had to turn all of my stuffed animals and dolls around. Something was attached to one of them. I just don't know what it was or which one. I don't have those anymore, except like a small handful of stuffed animals and a couple of dolls that my grandmother gave me, but nothing is attached to them. Um, I didn't know that though. So fast forward to 2013, I join a group when they come down to see if my dad is still around our old store. And I was the trigger object. So I stood in the dark and asked questions. That's the night I got a rock thrown. And it was when the group took a break. My husband was down there. All the utilities had been shut off 2 or 3 years prior to this. My husband had cleaned everything out, so it was gutted. And it was just the old concrete building, 2 stories. The bottom story had been street level in the 1800s and early 1900s, and it was a turkey slaughterhouse. So the big vats were still down there, the hooks still hanging from the ceiling, all that kind of stuff. Um,
So it's
and
full
then
of turkey ghosts.
they caught an EVP of turkeys gobbling.
Oh
You
my
say
God.
that in jest, but yes, they caught turkeys gobbling.
That's what I, yeah, that's fascinating.
And I was hooked. I was so hooked. The only place their instruments actually lit up was the place my dad's chair had sat for 30 years.
Mm,
And it was his energy was still in his desk chair. So, but when they had taken a break, a rock got thrown, kind of like, "Hey, I'm trying to talk to you guys. Get in here." And so they all came running back, cut their break short, and started back up. But they only caught the two EVPs, one of the turkeys and one of this strange holy mackerel, which nobody in my family ever said. But to me, that's something that could have come from the old ice cream factory that was on
mhm.
property or the old Red Cross building that was on property. It could have been from anything really, but maybe 30s through the 50s, 1930s through to the 1950s, maybe that's when that was a big saying. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to find those voices. I really wanted to find them. And so they trained me. I became their case manager and I found places for us to investigate. Um, I knew I wanted my own team. I just didn't know how to go about it. So
Yeah.
they trained me. They taught me all about the instruments, all about what to do, what not to do, how to talk to people that needed help, how to help them, how to go about finding information, just the whole bit. And then a year later, I founded Elk Valley Paranormal, EVP for short, because I like
Oh,
the audio.
clever.
And everything around here is Elk Valley something, like the newspaper is Elk Valley Times, Elk Valley, whatever. There's all kinds of Elk Valley businesses around here. So Elk Valley Paranormal was perfect for me. And I formed my team and we started doing not only residentials, helping people, but we would do commercial properties, abandoned buildings, and things like that. I met Mark Elliott Foltz, my very best friend right now, um, back in 2014 after I'd formed my team. And since we have become tight and we have been writing and doing things together. So he is my go to. If I get confused or have no idea where to go to help somebody. I'll call Mark and say, Mark, I need a little remote done. Look into this for me. And he'll immediately go into it and help me. So I try to see him in person at least once a year. I hadn't gotten to see him this past year, but we've got
And
plans for this.
did you say he's a psychic medium? All,
Yeah,
yeah, and then also remote views.
yes, and
Okay.
a trance artist, and just to me, he's amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. I'd love to meet him, and if
You
he'd like
would
to be on
love
the show,
him.
if he'd like to be on the
He,
show, he's welcome. You can tell him. And I want to know so many things. We'll kind of get, yeah. I mean, I do want to know then, how did you go from that to, what was the next, like, move in terms of, okay, where do we find places to go? How do we find clients? But I do have questions about EVPs, for example, just based on your research. I was telling you a bit about this, but when I lived in Virginia a few years ago, there's a beautiful place called the Exchange Hotel in Gordonsville, Virginia. It was ranked one of the most haunted places in the nation. I recommend everyone go. It's a beautiful museum. And I became friends with the people that ran it. But it's an old Civil War hospital, and it's on a railroad track. So I told you it used to be a saloon, and then they had to turn it into a hospital because there was such a need on that railroad, so that they had nuns there, they had enslaved people there that would assist the doctors. They also apparently had a little school there for the enslaved children, and so it's a very interesting historical place, and also a very tragic place because a lot of the people, they didn't have anesthesia the way we do. So there was a lot of pain and suffering that happened there, and yet there's this beautiful warm feeling there, I think because of the love that's been poured into it. But I spent a lot of time there when I was in Virginia as a medium, and also just as a friend of the people that ran it. And when my friend Derek and I first went in there, we walked into the room where they would do amputations and those kinds of things, and all of a sudden, like you were just talking about, a rock, like a little pebble, just flew across the room. So I went downstairs and asked my friend Shauna, who was the running, like the curator, what do you call it? Yeah, but or the docent, I think. But I told her I'm a medium, and she's like, I'm gonna close up the museum and like close the doors because we're about to close, and like you can hang out here. And she played me some EVPs from the place, and it was so, I have chills about it. There is a little girl there, and she's singing the ABCs, and she said, there were a bunch of us there. There's no one around. There's no kid in there. And this little girl, clear as day, it's not even like, oh, is that a crunchy EVP? It was like a recording of this little girl singing. And what was so wild is that even though it was from some other time, it's like it sounded just like a little girl from today.
mm,
And I went, and she had offered for me to spend the night there. I still don't know if I'm brave enough to do it because some people I spoke with had slept up in this one part. And they said, so they're going to sleep, and all of a sudden they start hearing glasses clinking, carousing, people partying, and
bar
the
open.
bar was open. And this woman, she was the mother of the vice president of the museum. She was like terrified, wanted to leave. There were thunks and stuff. But my question is, from what you know, because I know it's sort of still a mystery to all of us, is like, how are we hearing things that happened before? Like, I understand it's sort of an energy imprint kind of thing. Because like, what's the difference between a soul communicating with us? And I know you're a medium too. Like, I just know you are, even if you don't practice it. I know that you are, though. Like, we're all mediums, but you may not practice, but you definitely are in communication with spirit. We all can, and I know that you're an empath. So, um, yeah, what's the difference between like a soul communicating with us versus like, what is an EVP? Where is it coming from? Is it another dimension? Is it an imprint? What is it? That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah,
What you think?
it's there's so much to that.
Yeah.
I when I first started out, it was just, oh, I was catching ghost voices.
Yeah.
And then I found out what residual was. I
Yeah.
didn't know a residual haunting as opposed to an active haunting. I didn't know the difference. So I had to learn everything, and I'm still learning. Um, I have gotten to the point where I think it's even more than just active haunting and residual. I think time has a lot to do with it,
Yeah.
dimensional walls and time. And I think that because some of the EVPs I've gotten to me are impossible. They speak in a choppy sentence, but there's extra syllables. And so I thought, you know, something's not quite right. I'm going to reverse that. There was a whole different sentence when I reversed it and flipped it around. And I found that more often than not. It was, and in the darker places that I have gone into, um, they seem to be more frequent like that, almost like what we hear, what we record is what they want us to hear. And it could be something like, get out. We
Yeah.
don't want you here. Or, you know, something like that. But when you turn it around, it's almost like they're talking to each other, going, you know, we can really take care of them. Something else, it's more
Yeah.
ominous, and they're talking amongst themselves, but they can talk forward and backward at the same time.
Wow.
And, you know, we can't do that,
Yeah.
but they can. So they're on a completely different time somehow. I don't understand it. I
Yeah.
don't, I probably never
I,
will.
I won't either necessarily. It's like I souls talk to me, but I don't get like a full word by word rundown of how it actually all works. I wish I could. I'm sure there are
Yeah.
people that can. And I do wonder, I also would love to know what you think because the concept of stuck souls doesn't make sense to me, right? Like, I don't think God makes mistakes. I don't think souls
Right.
like get stuck in the sense that they're trapped in a place. Why is a soul going to hang out at the site of their, I don't know, just for YouTube stuff, I'll just say like a place where they got unalived. I have to say that, sorry, just so that they don't get like banned or whatever. I don't think they like dwell there to hang out and keep reliving a terrible event. I
Yeah.
think their soul is at peace. But there is something that happens where sometimes there will be an imprint of something negative that happened. And I would love to know, and there are people that say we need to help them cross over. It doesn't make sense to me, but I know that that's a big part of what paranormal researchers or investigators often do. I'm not sure if that's your area of expertise. I'm not saying it isn't true. I just personally don't have experience with it. So I want to know what you think about that.
And I have friends that have done crossovers. Um, I don't think that any of us can truly cross anybody over unless they want to go.
Yeah,
I don't think we have that power.
yeah, I just, not that I don't believe in God as being higher up than us or more important than us as some kind of a deity that's like, I am, the king. But I also feel like there is a perfect order of things and that, and again, I'm not saying it's not true or I'm not
Right.
doubting, I'm not challenging anybody who has more experience. I've just always sort of hasn't resonated with me as much of like, why would a soul need my help? I mean, I'm a soul, you're a soul, but why do they need my help? And that everything's in its right order. I sometimes think that when we think a soul is stuck, it's more of an energy imprint of something very traumatic that happened. And so the energy resides in some kind of dimension that's on a loop. But their soul, I don't really like to think. I just, from my experience and what near death experiencers have told me, you just go back to the light. Now, there are people that might have more learning to do, so they might be at a lower vibrational state.
Mhm.
But I don't think that they just like get stuck and can't figure out where they are. maybe a part of themselves. Maybe there's a part of
right.
themselves that does.
And in the very beginning, when
Yeah.
it first happens or something. Because when we lost Wyatt, my nephew, the first person I called was Mark.
Oh, yeah.
I, I went to the hospital to be with my sister and my mom. And I talked to them. I came back in with my sister to see my baby, and just kind of talked to him. And he was beautiful.
Oh.
Not a scratch on his face. And he had just been in a horrible motorcycle
I knew it.
accident.
Sorry, he just came to me and I was just about to say was he 27 when he passed?
No, no, no,
Oh,
no. He was only 19 and a half,
you're
but
19.
he was an old soul.
I saw motorcycle as you were talking about Wyatt. I suddenly saw the motorcycle, and I didn't want, yeah. And for some reason, the number 27 feels relevant, but I did see, suddenly he just came into view, and I was like, he's a young man, and he was in a
And,
motorcycle accident. Go on. But
and just to
I feel him here, so I just wanted to tell you he's here.
Well, he checks in a lot when I'm on these.
He
And
does. And also, he just showed me a red balloon, which means it's someone's birthday coming up. So I just wanted to mention that too. It's like a happy birthday or an
okay,
acknowledgement of a birthday. So if that makes sense to you, let me know. I didn't mean to interrupt, but he just kind of
it's
popped in. So
fine. It's just he's always with us.
yep.
But I went out as soon as I saw him. I went back out. Um, Side. My sister needed a cigarette, so we walked back outside, and my mom was out there. Um, and it was just one of those days that doesn't seem real,
Yeah.
and it can't be real
Yeah.
because this is too horrible. This can't be right. He's only 19 and a half. So I called Mark and I said, Mark, um, I'm at the hospital. We just lost Wyatt. And he said, oh no, because he loved Wyatt. We would go down there, my husband and I, Susan and Wyatt, every year down to Pensacola Beach. And we started doing that about 6 or 7 years before he passed, about 6 years before he passed. So it had become a family thing to go down there and then to see Mark and Mark's husband. And we would have dinner together, and Mark would come over, and we would do little seancey kind of stuff, and or little medium kind of stuff, and just have a one, and basically just sit outside and talk. And Wyatt loved Mark and Mark loved him. So he said, oh, let me see what's happening. Let me see what's happening. And he said, Wyatt's there. He said, he's confused. Um, he's upset that you all are upset.
Yeah.
He said he didn't see it coming, which
Hmm.
is exactly the words Wyatt would have said. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
And so still to this day, it's something that you never get over. Uh, you get used to hurting. You just get used to hurting and missing. And anyway, that's the story of losing my nephew.
Yeah, I'm so sorry that he is very much alive because he came swooped in as soon as you started talking about him, and I'm feeling chills all over my body, and it's and I know like with the work that I do, I always tell people I know that we know they're not dead, they're just in another room, but we'd like to be in that room with them, and so it doesn't take
Yes.
away the pain of grief, and that's important to talk about when we talk about spirit communication and all of that. And like, it is magical. It is so cool. And like, they're more part of our lives than they ever even were when they were here because they can literally
At
see.
any time.
I have chills. He's telling me that this is right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know he's like, we'll get to that because I know he like wants to tell me things, and I'm like, okay, we'll get to that.
Okay.
But yeah, oh God, I have chills all over my body. He's so sweet. And I'm seeing like so many things, but even so, it doesn't obviously that doesn't take away grief, and grief is an ongoing process. And the miracle of it is that they've literally just left their body behind. But it's horrible. I mean, 19 is too young to go. Um, I wanted to know too. I would like to know you actually wrote a book about, I mean, near-death experiences, and I want to know kind of what your research on that has been like, and what you have learned, or what your personal experience might be.
You know,
Yeah, what's your interest in it?
the weirdest thing, because I was writing stories about my investigations and EVPs. And Mark and I even did a book of fiction, of scary stories. So I had three under my belt. And God kind of put this in my lap that I needed to write a book of signs. So signs from our loved ones, deathbed conversations, when you smell their perfume,
Hmm.
feather, penny, um, a song comes on the radio and you think of them. Um, they show up in your dream or in the room. You have a vision of them. You just redbirds, all of the things. And so I was like, I don't know why I'm supposed to write that, but I don't have any stories. I've got one. My mom, when she fell, she saw my grandmother who had passed in 2002, 2 weeks before Wyatt was born. And she saw her. So mom falls, really bad fall, hits her head. And mom said it was so bad she knew she was dying.
Wow.
And we came out, we were trying to get her comfortable before the ambulance got there. It was in January, very cold. And she told me 3 days later, I saw mother. And I
Mhm.
said, "You saw Nanny?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, when? She said, "When I fell." I looked up
It's amazing.
and she was standing there staring at me, and she just shook her head.
That it wasn't her
And
time
I
to
knew,
come.
yeah.
Yeah. And
So I had that story, but
yeah,
that's all I had.
right.
So I started collecting stories from all over, and I got near death experience stories on top of it. So that's where that started. When I brought out that fourth book, and I still didn't know why, because I started that book in 2020. And then COVID hit and all hell broke loose. I lost my motivation to write, didn't get it back the next year, started again in 2022. And then that was the beginning of the year. And then we lost Wyatt on April 6th of that year. And a couple of weeks later, I was like, oh, so I had all these stories that had come in from all over the country. I had my book, but I didn't have my introduction and I didn't have a good foot on it. And then Wyatt died, and I was like, that's why God wanted me to write this. This is my therapy, and this is Wyatt's story. So I wrote about Wyatt's life. Um, he was not supposed to be here.
Hmm.
Susan, my sister, had had 5 miscarriages, and then Wyatt stuck. She wasn't supposed to have kids at all. The doctor had told her she would never carry a baby to term. And yet she carried Wyatt to term, and we got to keep him for just 19 and a half years. And that's never enough. She'll never get over it. Um, no, none of us will. But this book was his. So it's dedicated to him. His story's in there. Um, he started showing up immediately. he started, my sister found a white sock on his seat in her car. And Wyatt was always losing socks. When she got home that same day, there was a single black sock on the steps going up to her apartment. And it was just like, Mama, I'm still here.
Yeah.
I'm still here. So his story's in there. And when that book came out, I had so many people coming up to me saying, I have a story for you.
Mm.
I've got a sign from my mother. Or, um, my dad visited me in this dream that was too real to be a dream. Can I tell you about it? Uh, I always think about my cousin when I see the red birds. All these things were coming in. And I thought, well, I've got to do a sequel. And so I started the sequel, and I got so many more near death experiences that I thought, well, this book's got to be by itself.
Yeah.
So I pulled out the angel rescues and the spirit warnings and put that into the death's doorstep for the near death experience. And all the rest of the signs came out 2 months later in the Signs 2 book.
Right.
So it's just been, I'm so blessed to have gotten to read all of these stories from all over.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten some from overseas, and I would never have gotten that experience if I hadn't gotten that put in my lap in the very beginning and wonder why am I writing a book on signs? I don't know enough about it.
Mm-hmm.
All you got to do is ask people.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think anytime you're open-minded to the signs, that's what I always tell people. They're going to send more and more. And I see them now every day because I know, because I am so tuned in and so aware. And every time I see one, I say, thank you, Spirit, or thank you,
Yes,
whoever it is, I see you. Then they have fun with it. So a lot of people will lose someone and say, I don't feel like my person's here. And I tell them,
it just hasn't happened yet.
yeah, or it is, and it can be very subtle. There
Mhm.
can be ways that they're trying to come through to you. So a lot of times if we're in a dream state, our brain needs to be in the right exact, whether it's theta, alpha, lucid dreaming state. I've had one visitation from my grandfather. I don't dream, like Teresa Caputo, the Long Island medium. I don't dream about my past loved ones. This was a visitation. It was not a dream. It was not a dream. It was a lucid. I'm there, and my grandfather just comes towards me, but he looks like 40 years younger than he did when he passed. And he looked great, and I'm getting chills. I'm getting such big chills. He just stood in front of me, and I said, Grandpa, I can see every pore on your face and every whisker, and your eyes are so blue. And he didn't say anything. He was a quiet man. He just smiled and hugged me, and I just said, oh, I miss you so much. This is so beautiful. And then I woke up, and he had passed, I don't know, 15 years before this. And so I wasn't thinking about it, but I went through my day, and then all of a sudden I had to go look at the date, and I'm like, it's Grandpa's birthday today. That's why he came to me.
Mhm.
And it can be, it can be so subtle. It could be in a song. It can be
Yes.
lyrics to a song that you just know. So also, I'd love to hear too some anecdotal stories if you don't mind sharing. That was one of them, the socks, which is really amazing. But in terms of your paranormal, well, first of all, I want to hear this is what I want to hear. When you go on like a investigation, for example, do you find mostly, I guess, do people call you saying, I want this investigated, or do you kind of say, we'd like to investigate this place? Or is it kind of both? But what goes on? Kind of both, I would think.
Both.
Yeah.
Usually I get reached out to by families that are having disturbances in their
Okay.
homes, just don't understand. And it can be the least little thing, but it bothers them. So I generally teach people how to bless their home. smudge the area. Mark taught me. I didn't know how to do it. So if it's a little bit darker than just knocks or whatever that they're hearing, footsteps, doors opening, something like that. If it's more and they're actually really scared, then I do like a Florida water or salt water spritz walkthrough before I do a smudge walkthrough. And I teach them how to do that so they're in control of their
Yeah.
space, because it actually works better if the resident does that,
Hmm.
because it's they're living there, it's their space. And even though the spirit might say, no, it was my space first, um, you can cohabitate as long as the spirit doesn't mess with you.
Yeah.
If they can understand you're scaring me and talk to them that way, then everything can get calmed down a lot easier. Some of them um, have to have a little bit bigger push. And
Yeah.
that's when I'll say, Mark, it's not listening. I say,
Hmm.
okay, well, we need to do a cleaning. You got to do vinegar water on the walls. You got to do vinegar water mop and, clean up the clutter and blah, 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 and then do all the other stuff. But that's mostly actually what I've done most since 2020,
Hmm.
helping people that way. And 2020 was horrible because everybody was at home
Right.
and not used to it. So,
Yeah, because I always wonder, for the most part, when people talk about disturbances in their home, I'll often tell them, I mean, I often feel like it's actually not a haunting. It's someone that loves you that's trying to get your attention. A lot
yeah,
of the time, it's literally your grandpa. They're just playing pranks. They're trying to get your attention. They're flashing
yeah,
lights. They're closing cabinets, or they're misplacing things. And usually, I don't want to say usually. I don't know the percentage. I wouldn't be afraid, but I think
right.
I would trust people to know if they feel afraid, then something has to be done. And so, what do you think is the reason that there are some souls that do kind of like harass people, or have like, what is that negative energy? Where is it coming from? What is the nature of these lower vibrational souls, and why are they doing it?
I have heard so many times in the last couple of years, if somebody is an asshole in life, they're going to be an asshole in death.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they were a jerk, they're probably still a jerk and
Hmm.
just trying to harass. And if they were always trying to get in people's faces when they were alive and, distance them from the other or whatever, they're going to still do it in death too, because
Yeah.
they think it's their spot and nobody else should have the right to it. It's theirs.
Yeah. What are some examples of clients you've had? And you obviously, I know you client confidentiality, but like, what are some examples of things that your clients have experienced that they've called you about? What's happening in their houses?
Um, Anything from knocks and things falling off counters to sewer smells. That sudden sewer smell that kind of wafts up out of nowhere, and they're not having any kind of water issues.
Yeah.
So I called Mark on one of those, and the sewer smell was actually a portal. The thing was coming through it there. And every time they smelled that sewer smell, it was that thing coming in to harass them. So you just never
Yeah.
know.
What do you think?
And
Like, what are portals called? Like, why are they where they are? Or what is it? Is it like, I know you probably don't know either, but why are there portals in certain places?
yeah, I think some places it's just the high content of energy.
Yeah.
One portal in that same family's home was around the American flag that the father had brought back, or he had served in the war, and when he died they had the flag presented to him. So a lot of energy was coming through that flag, and it was made up of everything he had been through And even though he didn't have it in life, it was presented at his death. And I guess it went into that. I don't know how any of it works
Yeah.
other
I mean,
than,
I think it's so complex that I don't think we really
yeah,
can possibly know how it works because I think it's beyond our like our paradigm can't even wrap our heads around how these things work. Like maybe the soul, the spirit creates the energy that creates a tear where it's like we want
mhm,
to push through and therefore there's sort of like a wrinkle in, well, not like a wrinkle in
yeah,
time. Um,
yeah.
but I
The
also, it's just so
wall.
curious why some of them can actually physically manifest movement, like
I
things
think,
falling. Yeah, I'd love to.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And how some, do you know the movie Ghost when he said, give me a penny, give me a penny.
Mhm.
And he had her take it, she got the penny and he took it up the wall.
Yeah.
And that took a lot of his
His
energy to
energy.
do it,
Yeah.
supposedly from the movie. But others can slam things and, slam every door in the house at one time. How is that possible?
Yeah.
You know, I can only slam one door at a time.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just like they can do and be so much more because they are nothing but energy.
Energy. Yeah.
And we have our outward appearance that's our boundary,
Hmm.
pretty much.
Yeah. Boundary
Um,
is a good way to put it.
yes, I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling. But I know that a lot of portals have happened because people think they know what they're doing
Yeah.
and open up communication with the beyond and then don't close it.
Right.
So I'm always telling people, please, 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 if you're going to do that, if you're not going to stop, then at least close the session. Say goodbye. Thank you for talking to us, but we're done now.
Yeah.
Or something. Say a prayer, anything. Just put that ending on it so that they don't keep coming through, just like a Ouija board. Everything really is a Ouija board. A
Right.
pendulum is a Ouija board.
Yeah.
A spirit box is a Ouija board.
Yep.
They're
You don't
all,
know who
even
you're
if,
inviting in.
oh no, just sitting here in the room talking to whatever, whoever, that's a Ouija board.
Right.
And people just don't understand that. If we can just get them to understand, because people are afraid of Ouija boards, but yet they'll work with an ovulus,
Yeah.
and
That's it.
that's
See,
okay.
I don't, yeah, because I don't think it has to do with the actual device that you're using. I
No,
think it has to do with opening a door saying, hey, anyone come in. So when I do a
exactly.
mediumship reading, I intend, it's all about intention.
Yes.
So, and I always do a prayer before that we are protected. I call on God, Jesus, ascended masters, angels, archangel, Metatron, Michael, Raphael for protection. Let us receive messages of the light. Let all of the messages that come through be in I would say, sin's highest and best good and in the highest and best good of the spirit world. And then I ask my spirit guides to come in and their spirit guides to come in so that I just say, I'm not going to receive any lower vibrational messages. But if, as long as this is of love and light, and I've never had to really close anything because I've only had one experience where I got sick because there was like a dark
Yeah.
entity, but it wasn't even a dark entity. It was actually the relative of the person I was reading. And I was at a psychic fair, and it turned out that he had he had taken his own life because of some very dark stuff that was, let's just say it's very related to like the Epstein files. Like he was a bad person, like a very
Yeah.
sick person.
Yeah.
And so he was about to go down for it, and I in the middle of the reading just started to throw up. I got so dizzy I thought I was going to die. I actually thought, oh my God, this poor kid who I'm reading, she's 17. Her parent had come in, to like give me more information, but that was the only time that's ever happened. I got so dizzy I thought I was going to faint. I went to the
Mhm.
bathroom, threw up, couldn't walk a straight line, and the dad said, "Yeah, my brother was a really bad guy."
Wow.
But I didn't feel like it was an possession or anything like that. I was just picking up on his state of mind, like where he
Mm.
was in that time, his darkness, how he felt when he was kind of like in that spinning darkness. And I did not feel like he was attached to me or anything like that. I've never had that happen. I know people say it does. So basically, I think a lot of it really has to do with intention. Is it the same way sort of with cleansing houses? Because also, what's the magic of like vinegar or sage or
Right.
um, what do you call it? The wood stick, which
The
it's
Palo Santo.
Palo Santo. This is just menopause brain. I have it and I can't think of the
I
word.
understand.
Yeah, it's like I'm always like the word for the thing that you put on your face. Oh, it's glasses.
Oh, really?
But it's like the things with the sticks and but yeah, it's is there some kind of a molecular component in these? I mean, there must be, but why is it that like if we burn sage, why does that take negative energy out, or why do salt cures or anything?
Right. Right.
You don't know. It just is.
Yeah, I mean, this has just been something that's been handed down
Yeah.
generation to generation and from tribal generation to generation. So it's not something that has just started in the
Yeah.
last 50 years. This is something that's been handed down again and again and again. And then other things have been brought in. I had never heard of Florida water. I
Yeah.
had never heard of white sage. I had never. I didn't know Palo Santo. I didn't know anything about anything except I knew there were good smelling candles that I preferred, and I liked certain scents over others. That's all I knew. Enter Mark, and he told me about all of this other stuff. I also have a holistic friend in town that has kind of schooled me on herbs and things like that. So she's fun to talk to. And I had always around this area gotten my sage and Palo Santo and any kind of oils and things from her. So, it's really if lavender oil works better for you, then you should use lavender oil. Or um, if Glade watermelon scent
Hmm.
is your smell and that is what makes your home feel the cleanest, why couldn't that work?
Yeah, because I sometimes wonder, and I should research this, and I shall. But I do wonder, is it the sage itself? Is it the crystal itself? Or is it that you're like we kind of, well, we manifest and we give meaning to things, right? For one thing. But I have this crystal ball. Does it actually have magic in it? I don't know.
Right?
But I like it because it symbolizes my spiritual connection for me. And so to
You
me, it's
know,
like, yeah, go ahead.
well, no, I was just going to say when we start our chant on smudging or blessing the home, this chant he gave me for Florida water, salt water, and then the smudging ritual itself was spirits of ill will, ill intent cannot, will not cross this line. And it's forever repeated the entire time. If I'm doing the saging and smudging ritual and the cleansing ritual, I go around one time and have the person go with me. Anyone in their family that's there, they go with me and they're chanting with me the whole time because that's going to make it better. But I just go around one time for the water, one time for the smudge. If they're doing it, I always tell them 3 times around for both because that's what Mark has told me works better from that person to do
Hmm.
in their own home. Um, I know that whenever I'm with Mark, we only do one time around
Yeah.
because the intent is so strong on pushing the entity or the bad stuff out.
Yeah. And I
So,
wonder if the
and that's
repetition is sort of what gives it power too, because like
it.
in spells, for example, they might say if you want to do like a love spell, then
Mhm.
use rose petals and then also a pink candle. And personally, I don't think there's any magic to the color of the. I think we associate pink with love, or we
Yeah,
associate rose petals with love, or um, and so it's more of a ritual just to to tell spirit we're ready to have this. I'm intending that with these are symbols to me. The
Right.
rose petals, and again, I could be wrong. I'm just saying that that's what resonates with me. I don't know. I love the smell of sage. I don't like the smell of Palo Santo. And in fact, the baby that I'm a nanny for, she's one, and her mom and I laugh because if you put Palo Santo up to her nose, she goes, well, she scrunches up her nose and says no, and because she hates the smell. I don't like the smell of it either, but there's something that feels ritualistic and empowering about it. So when I do readings, do I need to have candles burning and crystals out? No. But I like it. It creates a,
Yeah.
it's me saying I'm ready to work. This is my sacred space. I have frankincense, which is supposedly a spiritual
Right.
oil. I don't know what the magic in it is or even what to do with it other than I rub some on my hands, I put some in the candles. But for me, I also have walked up to people at the bike shop and been like, your grandma's here because she's I didn't do anything and all of a sudden I'm feeling a soul on my shoulder and they want me to tell them something. So I don't think it requires all of that ritual, but
Right.
but I enjoy doing it and it makes me kind of
Yeah.
just personally, and I listen to a little open your third eye thing on YouTube that just tells spirit I'm ready to work. But your
Mhm.
routine could be anything. Your ritual could be anything.
Well, exactly. The one that Mark told me ends up becoming kind of trance-like.
Yeah.
So what's to say that my spirit guides aren't joining in with me? And his
Yeah.
spirit guides, since he told me this, are not coming in helping. And the people's, that person, their whole family, spirit guides, even though they might not know who they are, they might
Right.
not even know they have them. Um, but we all have protection around us,
Yeah.
you know, unless we're just really bad people, then we probably have some bad stuff around us. But
Hmm.
who's to say though that the good stuff isn't joining in and helping push out the bad?
Yeah.
Maybe that becomes part of the ritual as well, past energy.
Right. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think also like as a someone coming in from the outside, like what your company does, for example, it's helpful because even if because you're able to be objective because you're not in the fear. So if I
Mhm.
live in a place where I'm in fear because I see that there's a dark entity and it's haunting me and I'm scared, I think call in someone who can say, "Hey, I got this." It
Mhm.
helps everybody's energy to just know, okay, someone's supporting me, so I can kind of calm down. It's like
Right.
when I'm in a plane and the plane experiences turbulence, my heart jumps, and then I look around to see what the flight attendant's doing. If the flight attendant's calm, we're good. And I think it's just
Right.
nice to have a person there that's like, don't worry, we got this. I'm not afraid. And I'm not afraid of dark entities either. Maybe I should be, but I just am not. Hopefully, I never will have to be. But I would also love to hear too, if you have some anecdotal story or stories you'd like to share about good spirits, Casper the ghost spirits that you've encountered either in these historical places or even in a home. Like, what have you experienced from the loving side of things?
I my Probably my favorite EVP that I have gotten. And if you want to hear more of my EVPs, you can go to elkvalleyparanormal.com
It's
and go
amazing.
to the evidence section. And there's a drop down menu, and you'll see old hospital or evidence. And then there's another tab underneath called They're Speaking. Well, my third book, They're Speaking, Are You Listening, has over 100 EVPs in it.
Ah,
And you
so
can
cool.
hear all of them. As you're reading the book, you can read about it and then go listen to it. So one of those EVPs in that book was at the house I was telling you about that had the sewer smell and the flag. Okay, it was the same place. I knew somebody was with me. I just couldn't see him. And so it was before we actually started the investigation. So we were just doing preliminary things. I was taking pictures throughout the house. And I felt somebody with me. And I said, I can't see you. I know you're here, though. I'm just taking pictures. Come with me. And I went to the next room, did the same thing. Come with me. Did the next room. About the fourth room over, the EVP I got that I heard later on was a grumpy little old man. And he said, I got better things to do than to follow you around all night.
Wow. That's crazy.
Loved it. I loved
Yeah,
it.
what a
He
cutie.
can, he was like, oh, exasperated with you now.
That's so cool. Do you use, I'm sure you use a mix of both, but the EVP, the little recorder thing that's like, and then do you also have spirit boxes that you use?
I do.
I
I
have one
do.
too. I just don't use it because I can't really figure out, it doesn't really seem to give me anything, but I built one. I built one
Oh,
that I
wow.
learned how to build from,
I'm
um,
not smart enough to build.
it's easy. Someone I wish I remembered, but it was a paranormal investigator who taught you how you. It involves like a guitar pedal and I've got it and I've tried it and it yeah it just to me it never sounds like anything other than just like like it doesn't really I can't catch anything on it and it just doesn't. It's well I haven't tried it in years, but I built the whole thing and it's a but it's based on radio, and so it
Yeah.
just captures scanning radio and I just felt like. I feel like I'm listening to gibberish and I don't want to assign meaning, where it isn't, but I'd love to
Yeah.
hear what you use kind of thing. And um, yeah, and also like that guy, that man, did he say it into that like tape recorder thing or was there another thing you were using? Because sometimes I
I,
feel like, sometimes they're so faint.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, do I
And
really hear anything?
this one was not a class A. I had to dig for it. So I had to take out noise.
Okay.
I had to amplify it several times, take out more noise
Yeah,
around me until I could hear what he was saying. And
that's what
then
you do. Do you run
slow
it through a
down.
program? Like, I don't know what it is,
I
but
use
it's
Audacity.
Audacity. Oh, really? Okay, because I'm a voice actor and I use Adobe Audition, but you can't if you're trained, you can learn to take out the
Yeah.
extra noise removal and stuff.
Yeah, mine was just trial and error, just over and over. And in that book, in that third book, I actually tell you how I do it, what I do.
Okay, cool.
And you can use noise reduction. You can use, um, slow down the speech recognition. You
Right.
can slow down pitch, lower pitch, high, increase pitch, just different things. And I did that so many times on several of these. And even when you listen to it, you might not hear it at first,
Yeah.
but having
Headphones.
earbuds or headphones help. And you might have to listen to it several times, but you might be able to pick up, say, a couple of syllables
Yeah.
that stand out a little more. And I've written what they are, what I've heard underneath each one, so you
Oh,
can.
that's so much fun. Yeah, my
But
friend Shauna, she played that little girl singing to me, and I think it was even on her phone, like as a voice memo, and it was
yeah,
clear as a bell, which was, and I believe her. She's had no reason to lie to me. And she said we had these investigators there. It was just us, and there's this little girl singing, and it
oh,
isn't. We were closed. It was nighttime. There was no kid in there. It sounded like a kid you would hear today. It didn't even have like an old-timey accent or anything. It was so crazy. And that was one of the most compelling that I've heard.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's the most, probably the most amazing one I've gotten was Wyatt.
Oh,
Um,
tell me about that.
oh my gosh. We lost him April 6th, 2022. February 23rd, 23, my sister was telling me a story that had basically been put together by divine intervention. Um, Wyatt, I think, had something to do with it and a higher power. There's everything is too coincidental to be a coincidence. And so she's telling me this story. I'm recording it on my phone. And as with any story about Wyatt, it hurts. So I had to wait a couple of months to transcribe it.
Yeah.
I couldn't listen to it again. I had to wait. So a couple months later, I'm transcribing. My husband had just gone into the bathroom to take a shower. And at 6 minutes and 42 seconds, I hear Wyatt's voice.
Mm.
and it's just she and I talking in her home. The cat and the dog are asleep. The television is on, but it's on mute. So it's just her. And I had asked a couple of questions to, keep the story going. But basically, she was talking and he's smiling when he says, he taps on a couple of things or taps on something twice. And then he says, "Did you hear that?" Now, the thing is, I had been training him to be my videographer for Elk Valley.
Oh,
So for months, he had heard my co-founder, Sean, say, "Okay, if we've got any spirits around, please get as close to the red dot as you can. Speak as loudly as you can, and hopefully we'll be able to hear you." He did exactly that.
wow.
And I wish I had my phone next to me. It's charging right now, unfortunately. But it is the clearest EVP I've ever heard in my life.
I also wonder, since I've heard people say, like, oh, and I don't, it's hard for me to know. Souls tell me what they're doing on the other side, whatever that dimension is. And from what I understand from near-death experiencers and also from other mediums, is the quote unquote other side. I mean, first of all, it's more real than even here to us. So, like, in a sense, even though they're not in physical bodies, they really are like, it is very real, like this is real. So I almost wonder if he's sort of like, it's almost like he's shouting through a wall or like a tin can on a string where it's like, I'm right here. I'm just right here. And you can, if I yell out enough, kind of like energy wise, you can hear my voice again. And how it
It's
manifests into physical voice that we can hear.
it sounded like he was right between us,
Oh, that's amazing.
leaning over the couch.
Yeah, have you had more experiences like that, or do you just kind of talk to him in your mind and have this sort of soul relationship with him?
I talked to him in my mind. I talked
Yeah.
to him out loud. I He has come through on another podcast as I was telling his
Yeah.
story.
I mean, it was like
And
immediate. I'm like, oh, I saw immediately it was like motorcycle. I
yes,
just like immediately saw it.
and I tell you what, it was all he said was the guy that was going through all the audio, he said, "Cyn, I've already gotten 7 EVPs." And he said, "One of them you're not going to believe." And he said, "6 were on Joe's side. One was on my side. One is on your side, and you're not going to believe it." And I said, "Yeah, well, yes, I will. Send it to me." And it was Wyatt. And
Oh,
all he said was Wyatt. And that's exactly the way he says it on his voicemail. And I said, Kent, this guy's name was Kent. I said, "Kent, oh my, let me give you his cell phone." Because, yes, we still have his cell phone. I said, "Let me give you his cell phone number. I want you to call it, let it go to voicemail." And he messaged me back, "Oh my God, that is him."
that's his voice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was exactly him. So he kind of pops in,
Yeah.
especially when I'm talking about him. So you might have an EVP. I don't
Oh,
know.
oh my
It would
gosh.
be great if you did.
Yeah. I would like to learn how to kind of do that kind of sound engineering and stuff at some point on top of my million other passion projects.
Right.
It's incredible. And also when you do these historical investigations, like if you go somewhere to, I mean, I loved living in Virginia specifically because there, and Arizona, because like Jerome is really cool.
Yeah.
But I love Virginia because there are so many, it's painful history, it's tragic history, and it's the most beautiful land. So I always feel sad when I'm like, why did people waste their lives fighting instead of living on this beautiful land in peace? Like they could have just enjoyed it together if they just could have cohabitated without killing everybody. But the cool thing about it is that a lot of those places still exist, like all the presidents' homes. And even
Yeah.
though it's sad because that's where they had enslaved people, some were treated better than others. Enslavement is never really okay, but it is like Monticello and all of these amazing places where you can still go in those places and visit. I'm feeling chills, and you can see some of them are reconstructions, but a lot of them are the original structures, and so it's really fascinating to go in there. And so I'm wondering, have you ever had, I'm trying to think of how to ask this, like when you've gone into these places, some kind of experience or EVP that validated the history in terms of like, oh, you have an EVP and they're like, my name is Emily Bronte. And then you look it up and you're like, oh, that person really did live here. Um,
That would be amazing.
yeah.
That the only thing I can think of, and I can't tell you who she is,
Hmm.
but I know what she was. Um, my husband and I went up to Pennsylvania, where he's from, to see his family. And we were visiting everybody. And then we made the rest of it our vacation. So through Pennsylvania and over from Pittsburgh, which is his people were from around that area and just above it. And we went to all their houses. And then without going into a lot of detail, I got food poisoning
Oh,
and I
the
was sick in
worst.
Pittsburgh.
Oh my God, it's the
And
worst.
it's horrible on vacation. It's
Oh my
horrible.
God, I know. It's
So
happened to me before.
oh my God, it sidelined me for 24 hours. So that put us back. Well, then when I got to feeling better, we went through Lancaster Dutch country and then we made our way over to Valley Forge. And I wasn't feeling bad. I just wasn't back. And
Yeah.
it was a very hot day. And I remember saying, I just need to go to the visitor center and sit in the air conditioning, please, for just a little bit. And he said, I'll go get the truck while you rest. So I'm in there and I'm cooling down and feeling so much better in the cool air. He comes and gets me. We get in the truck and we leave. The next day, we went through Gettysburg. We went to Philadelphia, Betsy Ross House. We went to different places around there. Even had a Philly cheesesteak. So I was back. Nothing was bothering me. And then we came down back to Tennessee through Shenandoah National Park. So about 3 days after we got home, something had changed. Something was different in the house. I had a cat, Bella, and she was queen of the property. But she wasn't acting weird. I got all of my equipment out and I started asking questions and started anything. I couldn't get any kind of recognition until I came out of the bathroom and I was asking, if you're here, just talk to me. I know you're here. I know somebody's with me that hasn't been. Please talk to me. And I came out of the bathroom saying, I'm going to turn the light off now. And she said, thank you. I got you. Got you. I knew somebody was here. And so from then on, I was like, thank you for talking to me. Oh my goodness. How long, did you come back with us? Yeah. So she had latched onto me around the Valley Forge area.
Mhm.
She was from that era and was a nurse or had been a nursing person during the Valley Forge area. I was sick and she latched onto me to make me better.
Oh,
She came
oh,
all the way back home. Um, Before I had moved into this house, it was my husband's bachelor pad. There was a ghost cat before I moved Bella in. And I remember going to sleep, or him already asleep, and me trying to fight for sleep. And Bella jumped up on the bed. And I was like, oh, Bella's going to sleep with us. Wait, Bella's not here yet. There's a ghost cat. We've got a ghost cat. A
yeah.
couple of days later, it happened again. And I said, did you feel that? And he said, yep. I said, what was it? I don't know. I said, has it happened before? And he said, uh huh. I said, were you going to tell me about it? Nope. I said, why not? He said, I've been waiting for you to tell me what it was. I said, it's a ghost cat. We
Yeah.
have a ghost cat. Then I brought Bella in and she didn't act any different. There was no problem whatsoever. When the nurse came, she was here just a few months and the energy changed again. And I felt like She was antsy.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to Mark and I said, what do I need to do? What do I do? How to help her? He said, wish her well and
Mm-hmm.
tell her thank you for all she did and she's welcome to go back. She did. She took the ghost cat with her.
Oh, she
We
did.
never had the ghost cat jump up on the bed again. I thought that was the sweetest thing, though, that she
Yes.
actually connected with another spirit and that spirit could go with her.
That's very sweet. Saw it in my I saw a ghost cat in my mind, and it was like a little gray tabby kind of looking
Oh,
thing. That's what I'm seeing.
now Bella was a gray tabby with a blue
Oh, got it.
fur.
Okay, so I might be seeing her. Bella, is Bella on the other side? No?
Yeah,
That's why I'm seeing her, because I think
we
she's just
just
here with. Is she
lost her.
fluffy though? Oh, I'm sorry.
She's got thick fur.
Yeah, because I'm
It's
seeing her as like fluffy,
thick.
like and I'm seeing her gray. So but that's the thing is, I just suddenly felt I keep feeling chills, and then I see
Mhm.
this little gray tabby, and I'm like, that's her, just letting you know that she's totally safe on the other
She was
side.
my
Did she have a
baby.
heart condition too, like a little something with her heart?
She um when we had to put her down,
Yeah.
this is a couple months ago. Um and she was 15 years old.
Oh yeah, so she was getting close.
And she started having trouble
Yeah.
breathing, and I didn't know what was going on. So my husband and I took her to the vet, and the doctor came in, hmm, and he said, I can take an X. He said, I can do a lot of blood work and see exactly what's going on, or
Let her go
we can do
peacefully.
this, or we can do that. He said, or I can take an X-ray and see if there's anything else. I said, would you
Yeah,
mind?
that's what I did too with mine, just to make
And
sure.
then, well, that's when, though, he came in, or one of the assistants came in and said, the doctor wants to see you.
Oh,
Oh, that's not good. That's not good when that happens.
yeah,
And when they call you into his office at the vet's, that's not good.
I know.
So he had her picture, her x-ray up, and she had a huge tumor. And I said, is that her heart? And he said, no, that's a tumor.
It's in her
You can't
chest
even,
though.
couldn't see her heart for the tumor.
Yeah, it felt like she showed me her chest area kind of thing too. But she's also said, big chills, she also said, thank you for letting her go peacefully and for letting her go with dignity and for taking, ooh, I just got chills, from taking such good
Okay.
care of her. And she has no, like, she is so happy that she got to live with you,
I'm
and
so
that you took
happy.
such good, yeah, and she's like, you did the right thing, you took me, like, that, thank you for letting me go, it was beautiful. It's like, and there might have also been like a golden retriever on the other side.
Yeah,
That's what it's like, a golden retriever looking dog that's running up to Bella and meeting her on the other side. And so
that's
she just,
butter.
yeah, because you're connected, even if it's not your dog, it's like the dog is connected. And so she's like, I'm there with the dog, and like it's all we're all having the great time. And she's like, I was just getting sleepy and I couldn't eat. And I just so she just wanted to thank you for, even though it hurt you, it was like for taking care of me in the best way that you could have. And you have her ashes too, she said. Do you have her ashes?
Out. She's out in the front yard.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Did you have
Yard.
her act? Did you actually get her ashes, or did you just put, or you just actually
She-
buried her?
She's buried in the
Okay,
front
gotcha. I
yard.
don't know. There was something about ashes too that I just felt like you had ashes, so it might not be her. But she definitely like is a really. I mean, all cats are so sweet, but I have them too. But there was, yeah, definitely like a thank you. There was some kind of feeling of like a plaque though, or something that has like her name on it or carved into it. So,
I have got to get her one because uh, when she was a baby, she walked in our basement door and just like she owned the place. She was a baby,
oh,
maybe six, I don't even think she was 6 weeks, maybe 5 weeks or something like that. But she acted like she ruled the roost and she was supposed to be inside. And she tickled me so much because I had there were 5 cats in my basement. I lived below my mom at this point, and I had brought uh, two from Texas, and I had picked up two more at the Crystal drive-through, and
oh.
another one at the pound, and just my mom had picked one up from the pound. She usually stayed downstairs with us. And Bella just walked in like she was supposed to be with this troop of cats.
Oh,
And she stayed.
yeah.
So she was just my baby. She was,
Oh,
they were all my
I know.
babies.
It's so hard to let them go.
Yes.
And what they always say to, there's so many owners too that feel guilt, which I know you don't, I know about.
You do, but you
You
don't.
don't.
You
You
do.
know you did what was right, and yet it's hard to be the person to make that call. The animals thank us. They're not mad at us. We just feel like, oh, did I do everything? Of course we did. I just wanted to ask you a few things because I just wanted to get this
Yeah.
out before with Wyatt. I heard the name Devil's Peak. What does that mean?
There's a place called Devil's Step
Okay.
over at the lake that's not far from here, maybe 30 miles. And
Did
he
he?
actually went there.
Okay.
I guess it was the year before he died.
Okay. And then also, um, with the balloon, I still know he's like wishing someone a happy birthday. So who would be the person that has a birthday like right now? It's like
Mm.
someone's birthday's coming up or a birthday celebration.
The only birthday I can think of coming up is my stepson's. And
Is
he had
that
met him
Greg's kid?
a couple of times. Yes,
Greg's kid,
yes.
and when's his birthday?
March
Okay.
something. It's in March. So I don't
I
know.
don't know, and I'm not sure. I don't want to, make it fit, but I definitely know he was wishing someone a birthday, and to me that symbol always means there's someone whose birthday is just coming up. Also, like, did he wear a baseball cap like all the time? Because he did this with like his baseball cap.
He had this special cap. Um,
It
he
was
became videographer for the basketball and football teams at his high school young. So when he was a sophomore, I think,
Mhm.
is when he started filming for them. So when they won state, it was the year after he graduated, and he wore that cap all the time.
Gotcha. Arm, but it felt like someone got a tattoo for him. Is it you or his mom? It's you right there. It's you right there. I saw it. I saw it as writing. It was,
Can you see it?
yep.
It
What does it
it's
say?
his favorite guitar,
Okay.
the broken string coming off of his death date. So there's the birth date, death date, and Wyatt.
He showed me writing across someone's arm, and I was about to say, "Did you get a tattoo?" Because it would seem like he kind of said she's not a tattoo person, but she got one for me, is kind of like how I heard it.
I'm a tattoo person because I love them.
Yeah.
I have an ankle bracelet and I got that back in the 90s. And I keep saying, I want to get more, I want to get more. And then when Wyatt died, I was like, I'm
Yep.
getting a tattoo for him.
That which of course he loves, and just also loves that you did that for him too. I think there's something, I don't know what this is. Tiger. It's like I'm seeing a tiger. What is a
That's his
tiger?
high school mascot,
Okay, that's why. Gotcha.
Tigers.
He just showed me a tiger. But yeah, it's interesting because he definitely still, oh gosh, he just told me too that he still accompanies you when you do this work. He likes
Yeah.
as sort of protector, but also he likes being part of the team. It's like it's
Yeah.
not like you're gonna be fine, but he said he likes to be part of the team and go along with you on these things and like also kind of facilitate like connection, like hey, come here, like talk to my aunt.
I kind of figured that. I just hadn't been told that.
Yeah, there was something too about it feels like a piano playing by it's something to do with a paranormal investigation, right? It's like I'm hearing piano notes being played. What is that?
So at the night house, my friend Eric Freeman Sims um, used to have the podcast Unseen Paranormal for
Okay.
5 years. And so he and his husband bought the night house, which is an 1800s home. It was remodeled several times. So the front of the house and the side of the house, which is now where you go in, look like two different houses, but it's haunted. And there's a piano in it that every once in a while
Okay.
notes will
Yeah,
play.
I'm seeing it being played by spirit. That's kind of, and he's acknowledging that as well
Uh-huh.
as being either there when it happens or aware of that, and it may even be, well, oh, well, you said it always happens even at that place. But that's
Mhm.
how he was showing me a piano playing by itself. And then also, what was he doing? What did you just tell me, buddy? What did you just say? Um, it's, I forgot what he just told me, but it'll come back. One thing is race cars. Is like race cars significant to him?
He liked that kind of thing,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, it's
But
he.
he had rebuilt.
Yep, he just showed me his car that he said I don't know if it's like this is I sound like a grandma souped it up or like he said I did something to it so it I don't know if it's that muffler thing, but he made it like so it runs more like a race car.
He actually, this was his grandfather's El
Oh, so
Camino.
cool.
So he rebuilt it. It was not even running. And he rebuilt it. He used YouTube videos
So
to
cool.
learn how to do it because at that point, he had grown up at the parts house that mom and dad owned,
Yeah.
but they had had to close it after dad died. They tried to keep it open 2 or 3 years, but two women running an auto parts place just doesn't go in a small southern
Yeah.
town. And so that's where he got his start. And
Oh,
that's where he um, was introduced to everything because he never met a stranger because we always had clients coming in to purchase things. So he never met a stranger. He could talk to anybody. And I started when I was writing, when I had started writing books and going to the Paracons and stuff. He didn't go to Paracons, but he would go to the book signings with me, and he would take my cards. He'd say, "Aunt Cindy, hand me some of those cards real quick. I'm gonna go drum some business up." Run around the sidewalk and say, "Y'all need to come in and see my aunt. She's just got her new book, and it is great.
oh
You
my
need to come
God, how
read it.
sweet.
You need to come in there right now."
Did he have a tattoo on his back?
No, he wanted one, but he
That's what he's
didn't.
talking about. And you don't have to do it for him, but he just said he's like showing me like a big
No,
total covering of back, like a thing that takes up like a lot of space on his back. I'm not sure if it's wings or something. But
probably.
that's it's I saw it as like bird wings, and now it's kind of an angel wing thing. Um, I mean, and so it's almost like if you wanted to, you could get like little wings, a little angel wings on your neck, but you don't have to if you decide. But he just kind of showed me a big back tattoo. And also, does he have a little sister?
Actually, that was the fifth miscarriage.
Got it, because he just said he's with this. Oh, I he mentioned his sister, so it to me that means either like
Susan always thought it was a little girl.
it was a little girl because he just showed me how he said little sister, and I'm like, if he's
Uh,
19, like he said little sister, so that means he's got her. She's safe. She's good. She's
um,
um, and that's yeah. He just wanted to let you know that he's got the baby like baby sister, which is really sweet. I mean, his main thing is to let you know that he is always with you on these. He's still continuing on, like he's still continuing on with you because he would have wanted to do that till the day that he passed. If he passed when he was older, he did he have blue eyes? Because what I heard,
yes,
he showed me that he had really pretty blue eyes. I mean, he has really pretty eyes, and you would notice him for them. That's like something that
yes.
he. Does he have hair color? Like he kind of to me looked almost like he had sandy blonde like hair kind of
It
thing,
was
like your
sort of
color.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't like bright blonde, but he kind of showed me he had dark blonde hair. He's real cute and he's kind of skinny. Like well, the way I see him, the way he came through was like kind of skinny.
He skinny muscular.
Gotcha.
He
That's
had
like
been,
lanky.
he had been a big kid
Oh,
and had
okay.
been um bullied
Oh,
all his
buddy.
young life because he was
Kids are
big.
so mean.
And by the time he got to junior high school,
He got,
he was starting to work out and slim down a little bit,
yeah.
and he started taking up for other kids that were being bullied
Oh,
and
really?
telling the bullies they shouldn't do it because it hurts and this kind of thing
Oh,
shouldn't happen. And so when he died, at least three people came forward to us and said, "He saved my life. He stopped me from committing suicide."
wow. That's what his purpose. I mean, not just that. That's part of his. That's why
He's, he
he's an
was
angel.
just a good kid.
Really good kid. Did he also have a stuffed penguin or something when he was a kid?
he
There's something
he
about
had
penguins.
maybe because his mom liked penguins.
Oh, that's what it is. Because before he kept all through our conversation, he kept showing me a parade of penguins, and then I'm like, what do you mean by the penguins? And I'm like, is it a doll you had? So if his mom's a penguin person, he's just acknowledging that because I just kept
Uh,
seeing them. And that's I just love yeah. He just showed me penguins coming in, and so does she have figurines of it, or am I taking that one step too far? It's like
couple.
yeah, they're
She has a
just he showed me like a bunch of little figurines of penguins, so that's just him acknowledging her, I know. And also, he wants to say, please tell her this. I'm going to cry. Whew, okay. He said, tell her you are my sunshine. It's
I
this,
will.
like, she'll know what that means, is what he said. It's, and I feel that she's saying that to him or whatever, but it's like he said, just tell her that back. And I just go,
I will.
whoa. Yeah. Oh, that's so incredibly sweet. Now, let's listen to
Are you ready
let's
to hear?
roll the tape. Yeah.
Okay. You're going to hear my sister telling me this story, and
Oh,
it's actually in the second Signs book.
oh, cool.
So I wrote about Wyatt's got more in the second
Yeah.
Signs book. So, all right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
He drove an El Camino. And I said, yeah. And then he
Did you hear
said,
that?
then he said,
Did that sound just like his voice to you? That is in, that's like he was, like you said, just right between you on the couch.
Yes. And he got as close to the red dot and spoke as loudly as he could. You want to hear it one more time?
Yes, I was gonna ask, can we replay?
you know. And I said, yeah. And then he
Did you hear
said,
that?
then he said,
That's not even subtle.
No,
That's like the
it's
loudest
the loudest EVP I've ever
I've
heard
ever
or
heard in my
dialed.
life. Wyatt.
Same
Ooh,
thing.
that's
Same thing on the podcast. When I was telling the story, it came through that clear. Wyatt,
that's crazy, Wyatt. I hope that that happens on this episode.
I hope it does too. I
This,
really do.
oh my goodness, this is so cool. I love that we never know where spirit's going to take us. You know, it's like we just don't know. This is why the podcast is called Magic is Real, Sin, because
It is real.
it is. It's like I was an atheist for some of my life. I don't really remember but I just know there were a lot of years where I said, you die and you turn to dust. And I don't believe in any of this stuff. I think it's all crazy. I think people are like, I used to make fun of people, not make fun of people. I'm not that kind of person. But in my mind, like I would kind of roll my eyes at like woo woo stuff. And now it's my whole entire life. So that's why I had that for the title of the podcast, because it opened up a whole new awareness that like these, our loved ones are not dead. It is still sad because we're separated for now. But it's
Right.
like, I mean, I'm still sad when we're still sad. We still miss them. And yet, when people say you'll be with them again, it's not a platitude. When people say they're always with you, it's not just some religion is the opiate for of the people, which I used to think. It's like people mean well when they say that, and it's not always the right thing to say, because it can minimize someone's grief. But when people say that, they mean it.
Right.
When I say I'm praying for you, I'm not kidding. I'm not, I do believe that prayer has a positive effect. Again, intention. And it isn't because it's magic, and it doesn't mean that if you've got a sick relative and I pray that they're going to survive. But it means I'm praying that you're surrounded by your loved ones. I'm praying that you're surrounded by your spirit guides. I'm praying for your whole family to navigate this grief together. I'm praying for you to have support. That part is real, and I think that part matters, doesn't it? Like it, I think,
I think so too.
yeah, like our collective intention of love um, does matter. And again, you've given your website, which we'll have underneath, but um, have you come out with anything new yet? You working on another book, or
I'm
let's talk
working
about
on 8, 9, and 10 right now.
awesome.
And I'm getting ready to edit Eric Freeman Sims. He's got a couple of books coming out, so I'll be editing those for him.
Fantastic.
If you look up my name, Cyn Shrader Hill, on Amazon. You'll also pull up Mark Elliott Foltz, Eric Freeman Sims, Till Gray, anybody that I've edited for. Theirs will come up as well. So
Oh,
there's
that's
there's
exciting.
quite a few books out there. But yeah, I'm working on specifically 8, 9, and 10, and this one of those is going to be a series of books, and it's something that Mark and I are doing together. And they're antique and vintage newspaper stories. So it's going to be
Wow.
called The Unquiet Dead. And the series is going to start with headless ghosts and other hauntings like that. So, headless ghost, lady in gray over in Europe, the white lady, the Prussian princess that comes back. So, it's all over the world, things like that. The second book is going to be Monsters and Mayhem. So, Unquiet Dead, Monsters and Mayhem is going to be vampires, banshees, werewolves, uh, all the bad stuff that you can imagine,
Yeah.
and all the mayhem from it. There's also going to be one on poltergeists and other hauntings. There's going to be one on animal ghosts and haunted objects, Christmas spirits, spiritualism and mediums, and then we're going to do a final one probably on extraterrestrials and
That's my
cryptids.
jam. I'm so fascinated. I'm so excited to hear
It's
what's to come.
amazing how many old clippings I am finding. It's just like I find one and 10 fall out. It's crazy. And
Wow.
we're not going past the 1950s. So it's everything before 1950 that we're
So
finding really good
interesting.
stories on.
Thanks for collecting it all for us to enjoy. I'm really
Oh, it's going to be
excited
fun.
to hear
It's going to be
more. Thank you so much, Cyn Shrader Hill. I will have your website below if anyone would like to reach out, check out her books, check out her work. I have a strong interest in becoming part of a team, so I'll have questions for you about how I do that. And also, I'm writing a book that's almost done. It's a self-help book. I'm just putting that out there now. It's
good.
and so I'd love to know about publishing and that kind of thing. Mine is about recovery from sex and love addiction, but it involves the mediumship because that was a huge part of my healing and finding self love and trust and healing anxiety, low self esteem. And at first I thought, I'm not going to put in the spiritual part because I don't want to alienate anybody who may not be into those stuff. And then I thought, no, it's actually, if I think about it, it's really half of the healing work. So if it doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate, but it'll reach who it's meant to. And
Right.
it's, my story of addiction and how I'm always healing and recovering, but so importantly, how the spirit world and finding faith and finding like the love outside of external validation and like remembering our souls and who we really are and how empowered we really are and all of that stuff. So I'm excited because I'm really coming to the end of it. So I'm excited to talk
I'm
to other.
excited for
Thank
you.
you. So I'm excited to talk with other authors like you and find out what do I do now, and how do I get it out there, and really wanting it to be like a Hay House kind of a thing. But or if not, I'll self-publish. But that's yeah, it's an exciting journey, and I'm so impressed that you've done 7 because this has taken me like 3 years or 2 years. Not
First one's the hardest.
and not because it takes that long, but because finding the motivation to stay with it. But yeah, I've done it. I might take a few months off, get back with it, and so it's exciting. And God bless you for sitting down and doing it and getting it done and seeing it through. And I'm going to also. I said this is one of those things where my ADHD is not going to stop me from getting it done. So thank you again. Not that it's about me, but I just from author to author and paranormal researcher to paranormal researcher, since I guess research is reading and studying. So I thank you so much for your time and energy and for being here. And I look forward to hanging out with you when I go out to
Yeah.
Tennessee.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I need to come to Virginia, and we need to meet at the hotel and
Yes, I'm in LA now, but my parents are in Virginia and I visit all the time and it's my second home. So I will be calling you up.
that sounds wonderful.
Thank you,
This is
Sin.
great.
So
Thank you
much
so much.
fun.
Way much fun. Please let me come back.
Yes, absolutely.